Hello and welcome back to our latest edition of the In the Headlights podcast. Today we're in quite a cool location.
This is very cool. I've never been to here before.
Isn't it awesome? So we're down at Wars at Harley Davidson dealership in Chelsea, and we're here basically because we have literally just surprised the latest BOTB Lifestyle winner, who's won a brand new Harley Davidson. I can see the bike just down there. It's a brand new Harley Davidson FXDR, which is a brand new bike for Harley. It literally came out last week.
20 grand's worth.
20 grand's worth of Harley Davidson. BOTB just gave one away.
I don't really know how much Harley Davidson bikes are. I mean, do we know a range? I
think 20
grand's like a top-end bike, right?
Yeah,
that's big money for a bike. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking around the showroom. There's like five grand, 6 grand, 10 grand. They're the big ones,
10
normally.
to 20, you get a really serious bit of kit.
I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah, doesn't it, Justin? It sounded, actually, we started it out the back. Sorry, guys, you didn't get to hear that. But I got to sit in on it and have a little...
That's cool.
A moment.
Does it do the proper...
proper Harley sound.
Nice.
Did you take it around the block? Because
I have just passed my motorbike license. That's right.
Have you?
I have.
Well
so
done,
now
Christian.
I can ride anything.
How many times
I was about to say
did
that.
you have to do that?
So we're here this morning, and you'll obviously recognise Tim. This is Tim Oldland.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Christian. Hello. And today we're joined by Patrick. Now, Patrick usually is behind all the cameras and twiddling the little knobs.
Yeah, you may
and
see me
making
still
us
doing
sound
that
good.
because we do have to make this adequate quality, even though I'm in front of the microphone this time. But
But Patrick's come in mainly because we're going to talk about something in a second. But first, of course, thanks to BOTB again for making this podcast happen. Do have a look at the website, botb.com, and give away a dream car and a lifestyle prize every single week. It is a real thing. Just giving away a 20 grand bike, which is just crazy. And of course, thank you to everyone that's listened to the podcast so far. We've had some really good feedback. A few people have asked why it's not on iTunes. This is on iTunes.
Yep.
You can just go onto any of your favourite podcast app and just search for In the Headlights, and you should find us. And then hit subscribe. And then hopefully they'll all kind of automatically download to your device.
You don't even need to have an iPhone either. You can be on an Android phone or a computer. Any RSS enabled device, any podcasting app you have, it's on all of them now. So
there you go. That's
brilliant.
Geeky letters.
Will it work on Alexa?
I think so, yeah. As long as you've got a podcasting app, it'll work on anything.
Yeah.
So
wow,
it's exciting stuff.
This is very exciting. It's very exciting having you on the podcast. So
thank you for having me.
Well, not a problem. I mean, we didn't have much choice. We were running out of guests. So we wanted to bring Patrick Whelan in, mainly because not only does Patrick supply us with all these amazing microphones and GoPros everywhere, Patrick also looks after a lot of talent.
Yeah, works with a lot of YouTubers.
Yeah, works with a lot of YouTubers. And since we've had Archie Hamilton, the pigeon that is, on this YouTube, we thought actually it'd be quite interesting. We mentioned it in the Archie podcast to get Patrick in, because Patrick, you basically look after Archie.
Yeah, I look after Archie and a few other people in the automotive world, kind of on a commercial basis and a creative one. So we do stuff like this, which is more creative. And then if you've ever seen a sponsored video under any of the automotive YouTubers, and that's the commercial side of things.
Okay, so we'll talk about Archie in a minute, because it's probably quite interesting working with someone.
He's an interesting guy.
He is an interesting guy, yeah. But first of all, YouTube. How did it... Because I want to talk a little bit about the business behind YouTube and how YouTube started and everything. You've watched YouTube pretty much from the beginning, didn't you? Yeah,
so I started on YouTube by playing video games. Because of those video games, I would then go on to YouTube and look for tips and tricks or for any kind of help or insight I could get into those games to better myself. Because, as a 13, 14-year-old, that's all you want to do is play Call of Duty and get better at playing Call of Duty. I went onto YouTube, I found some commentators, so people that were just talking over gameplay. And from that, I kind of got really into watching those people. And then what do you do when you really like something? I mean, you're wearing a Casey Neistat t-shirt. I hope your vlogs are coming soon.
I am.
You try and emulate that person and you try and recreate what they're doing. So I bought a standard definition capture card and I would start capturing my own gameplay and then speaking over it.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, this was before my voice cracked. I have a clip on, I'm not going to tell anybody where it is, but on YouTube there is a clip of me before my voice cracked.
Wow.
And then there's one afterwards. So this was, oh God, this will date me now, but it was like 20...
it's like something years ago.
2012, maybe 2010
right.
Was when I first started uploading YouTube videos. And back then,
play
YouTube.
Call of Duty now. Everybody, come on, look at this.
It was literally that. Yeah, it was the squeaker on the microphone on Call of Duty screaming at people.
Oh, brilliant!
So when YouTube first started, though, and these people doing these commentary videos, and the kind of early days. There was no monetization. There was no commercialization of YouTube in any way. It was all very just for the fun. It was a hobby. People enjoyed the community and the relationship they had with their audience. And yeah, I guess we can kind of discuss through like how YouTube then became monetized to begin with, then the next stage and kind of where we're at now, where you have external brands coming in and sponsoring videos and partnering with YouTubers to better their brand message or their marketing. So you're not just making money from the adverts on the videos anymore.
Okay. Did you ever make any money from any of the videos you did?
Yeah, so I have this issue, and
I'm just going to stop you there 1 second. Can you? Because you still got to be in charge of the cameras. Can you just go and restart that?
Oh, is it still recording?
Yeah, it's stopped recording. See, Patrick's usually all over this because
so
we've got him in now.
This is normally what I'm doing behind the camera. Right, so that one's rolling again now, right?
That one's rolling again. And now, when that was happening, he's going to have cut to one of the other ones, which is this one. It was probably just focusing with me picking my nose.
Brilliant. Everyone wants to see it.
Oh, God, yeah. This is why you always need someone behind the camera, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. It does make it a lot easier. So when you first started doing some YouTube stuff, monetization, as you said, that wasn't a thing. So you couldn't really make any money out of it.
My biggest issue with the whole YouTube thing is I have an idea, and then I like execute on that idea, and I make what I think are good videos.
Yeah.
And then I get bored of that idea and I move on to the next one. So I've made lots of different YouTube channels. I had gaming channels. From gaming channels, I went on to technology, so product reviews. Like if I owned all of this equipment back in the day, I would have been reviewing all of it. After review channels, I had one which was my most successful, which was interviewing YouTubers.
Okay.
So funnily enough, kind of what this podcast is doing, which is giving an insight into someone like Archie. I would come from a direction of more of a traditional interview and interview people about how and why they started YouTube and kind of where it's brought them to today, so the opportunities it's provided and kind of like their journey to kind of where they are. So one of the videos on that channel got 1 million views and it had like 20,000 subscribers. So that channel generated some revenue, but then I got bored of that and then I bought a classic Mini. So I made a YouTube channel around that and I made a video series where I made like a Swiss Army knife into my keys, because the Mini came with 4 keys when I first bought it. One for the fuel cap, one for the ignition, one for the doors, and there was one more as well, and I can't remember what it was for. No, there was something else.
Boot?
Was it the boot? Anyway, it's a lot of keys. I can't remember the last one was. There's a lot of keys. So I cut down one of the keys. I had 3 left. And then I put them into a Swiss Army knife. So I made a video series around that in my garage over the winter because I bought the car in October. Nice. So that was another YouTube channel. But I got bored of that. So then I started doing proper car videos.
Okay.
Then mainly for other people's channels. Yeah, I did a few videos.
So the transition then, you obviously went from making videos yourself to then helping other people make videos.
Yeah.
Was that easier, harder?
Well, funnily enough, it first started off in a kind of a weird way. So if you go back to the gaming stuff, right at the beginning of my YouTube career timeline, I don't know what you call it. I didn't really earn enough money at the beginning to call it a career, but
timeline
I was working. Yeah, I think a timeline's a good phrase for that.
I might just move this around here, Patrick, because I want to see.
See
what. Yeah, and this is the beauty of a podcast. If you're
Christian's become creative director.
Yeah, if you don't have to listen to this, if you don't have to watch this, it's great because we are learning as we go.
Yeah, here we go. So this is all the stuff I do behind the scenes that nobody sees.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. Now Tim and I have to do it, and now we've just got dodgy camera angles of just like here and there, and now we've got.
It's like a vlog.
Obviously. It is like a vlog.
A vlog podcast. That sounds complicated to edit.
Podvlogcast.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to the gaming stuff, I first started watching these YouTube gamers. Then I managed to play with one of them in a game once. Literally just like tweeted out saying, "Oh, I need players to play with me against other people." So I got into that, got onto his Skype friend list. Right. The second I did that, just like badgering him every single day, talking about all of the different like things that I could do to help him with like a thumbnail or just helping him in any way. Basically, I was just like, "Look, I'll help you." Yeah, and what I get back from that is the ability to help someone that I look up to and aspire. So one day he came back and said, "Oh, you can make some thumbnails for me." So I did that, and then I started producing some of his content. So he was over in America, and I was in the UK. So all I would say is like, "Oh, you need to go film this," or like, "I can edit this for you." So like, it started off with me not even holding the camera. It was just everything else behind the scenes. It was learning how YouTube worked, uploading the videos, scheduling them, like producing them. And then I started filming things. Once I could afford to buy my first camera, then I started filming, stupid things like my cat in my garden and stuff like that.
Has that had 1 million views?
No, nowhere near.
I think
it's got under 10. So it started off actually more from kind of, most people would start filming first, and then they would start helping other people out and doing that. And I did it the other way around. And I was very fortunate that my cousin has a YouTube channel called Sorted Food.
Right.
So they have...
Bit of a plug there.
Going to get this wrong now, but it's like 1.5 or 2 million subscribers in that ballpark. And when I first worked for them. I was doing some stuff in between school holidays. It was just learning how the YouTube SEO and like search tags worked and stuff like that. And they'd be given by YouTube like this A4 list of like, this is kind of best practice, which is what they now provide in their, their creator playbooks and stuff like that. It's kind of a best practice guide.
Okay.
So I started doing that. So I kind of learned everything behind YouTube. And then when it came to making the videos, that was more just then learning how to use the camera and stuff like that. So I've kind of been growing up with the whole YouTube process, which has been really interesting. And in this time frame of like from then till now, monetization has come in, and that's made a huge difference. So when
it's giving you a job, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Now that it affords what I can do now, and doing cool things like this, it's really, really cool. So when YouTube first started, there was no monetization. The first level of monetization didn't come on individual channels. They had these things called multi-channel networks. So if you think of it like an umbrella, you have like a lot of smaller entities under a big one. The big one was able to place adverts and monetize that with Google, and then you would receive your portion of that check. So you would come in and you would say, oh,'ve got 1,000 views that month, then you would get a check back for just those 1,000 views. But the bigger company was getting paid, $1 million a month or something, and you just got your little slice of the pie. Okay. So it was very easy to work out because you still had your individual channels with your individual like video feeds and stuff like that. But the way that the monetization worked was kind of a network. And from there, I think in 2012 or so, then individual channels started monetizing. And then at that point...
it's as soon as YouTube knew that they could make some serious...
Well, YouTube had to build an infrastructure, basically, for the ad system. Because the way, and not to get too complicated on how the ads work, but you're basically doing like a live auction. Think about how an eBay auction works, right? But think about doing an eBay auction that lasts the amount of time it takes for you to load that video you've clicked on.
Wow.
So it's like...
milliseconds.
Yeah, so everybody bids, and then... the person who bids the highest wins, but they pay the lowest person's bid. So if you bid £4 for an advertisement for like per 1,000 views on a video.
So let's put this into practice then. So you're about to release a video about your cat. Tim and I want to advertise on your channel. Yeah. So I go, right, I'm willing to pay £4 for my advert to be shown on your channel. Tim goes, well, I've only got a quid. I would win, but
you'd only pay a pound.
So then what's stopping Tim go, well, I'll pay 100 quid?
I don't know. I know enough, but I don't know that much.
Such is the wonder of the YouTube world.
I think it is to prevent people from just outbidding each other and to kind
I'm guessing there must be some kind of algorithm in terms of if I do bid my £4 and Tim bids his £1, I would eventually end up paying more somehow.
Yeah, because everybody would then, if everybody started bidding up, then the lowest bid would become higher. So if he bid £100, then you probably wouldn't bid £1 next. Is that GoPro gone again?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Might be getting too hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the whole ad system is really interesting. It's very detailed. It's probably not for an overview podcast like this one. But yeah, it's really, really cool. And it's been a few years. And they still have issues. You still see YouTube now when YouTubers complain about demonetization and advertiser-safe content. And YouTube has a lot of issues around the way that people make money on the platform.
Yeah, there was AdGate, wasn't there? That happened recently.
But you've got to think that we live in this small world of automotive lifestyle stuff. You've got to think that there's all these other worlds, and they've got to cater for all of them using the exact same system. Yeah, so there's always
pretty
hard
to please everybody.
Yeah. Exactly.
What do you think of the? What do you think of the fact? And what are you planning on doing now? Given that now Facebook is moving into monetizing their videos, and they've, on your Facebook app, you've now got this nice little video.
Yeah, Facebook Watch, isn't it?
Facebook Watch. So, I mean, they're obviously... I'm surprised they haven't done it sooner, to be honest. They're desperate to get a slice of the YouTube pie, aren't they?
The issue with that goes back to the infrastructure that YouTube has. So Content ID is a system on YouTube which enables you to match... If you upload a video, that's then your property, your intellectual property, your copyright. And then if someone else uploads that, they shouldn't be able to monetize that. No, so on a base level, if someone re-uploads this podcast, it's probably not going to make much of a difference to how much money you would bring back from that. But if you're a massive YouTuber who's making millions of pounds a month from it, someone stealing your video and re-uploading that and that getting the million views that you should have got is a massive deal. Yeah. So the current issue with Facebook is they don't have an automated content ID system that can identify other people's content. Because if they bring in monetization like now to anyone, you could just go up the next episode of Friends or Family Guy or whatever, upload it, and then if people watch it, you make the money. And that's still an issue on YouTube too. You can just claim other people's videos like that.
Yeah, there's loads. There are loads and loads of. I watch just little 5-minute clips of Family Guy, all the time, and it's blatantly they're not paying Fox or whoever it is for the rights to do it.
Yeah, so it's an infrastructure issue. Facebook Watch, there is people who are making money off Facebook now, but it's a very small amount of people.
Do you think it will grow?
Yeah, definitely. I think there needs to be a competitor to YouTube. There hasn't been one. I mean, what's Vimeo? It doesn't make any money, does it? It's just a portal for... No, it's just that you have to pay Vimeo to have a pro account to upload as much as YouTubers would. That's how they make their money. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting space. You've got people like Amazon as well looking to build like content creation systems and ways to make videos for their platform, because obviously they have their video side of things, the Prime Video.
I think Netflix are looking into it as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because the problem with you've got YouTube, they've got the power of Google. You know, they've got the Google servers, the Google server city. You know, they've got all the space and infrastructure they could possibly ever want. Because I wish I'd researched the numbers. There are someone told me a while ago about the actual numbers of videos, the amount of data that's going in and out of YouTube on a set.
I used to know those
second.
stats off by heart, but I don't anymore.
I mean, it's billions of terabytes, go every day or whatever, and it's just mental. And so someone can't just go, oh, I'm going to create a rival to YouTube. They need to have that infrastructure, but that's why you need to have someone like Netflix who are constantly streaming stuff, and Amazon with Amazon Prime Video and all that kind of thing. I think it will happen. Somebody will come, because so many people are quite unhappy with the way YouTube are doing things at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think but it's all down to the monetization, right? It's just the creators, like you would if you made a TV show, you'd expect to be paid for something you've made.
And that's where the issue comes in with the next platform, which is Instagram. You can't monetize Instagram posts, like even though there's ads in your feed, like no creators receive a kind of commission off of that at all.
Okay.
And then Instagram TV, which is trying to be a YouTube competitor, trying to make portrait video available on mobile phones really easily. You can't monetize that either. So
do you think they will?
I think they have to, because the problem right now is bigger creators, your Casey Neistats, your people even in our world, don't see a reason to spend more time making a specific video for a specific platform that they aren't going to get anything back from. As objective as that sounds, it is still a business. And if you have to make 2 videos for 2 different platforms and both of those make you money, and then someone asks you to add in a third, but it's not going to add anything to you, if anything, it will just take away from maybe the creativity of your other videos, you're not going to be very enthusiastic about that. So you see big creators now, like Facebook signed a lot of big creators up to big money deals to make live content, to make Facebook videos, because they understand that the only way you're going to get a large audience staying there and following that is by incentivizing these large creators to kind of create this content and bring over an audience.
So obviously that is generating money through views.
Yeah.
Now a lot of these YouTubers that we all watch online and stuff, you know, they're doing pretty well for themselves. They've got a lot of money in the bank. And you know they're building huge houses for themselves and etc. etc. And I'm sure there's reasoning behind all of that stuff. But in terms of generating money through their videos, it's more lucrative, as Archie said in his podcast, to partner up with businesses and
with brands.
With brands. So with that, at what point in your career, after helping some of these YouTubers create some content and going, oh, they're making a bit of money, maybe I could cash in on this somehow, you obviously now I suppose, join YouTubers up with brands.
Yeah.
At what point did that start happening?
So that was about 4 years ago. If I'm going to be honest, I was just finished school. I was sitting in my bedroom working on a business plan with a guy in America to make a multi-channel network, the thing we spoke about earlier, which is, you know, a way to have an umbrella network and you monetize the YouTubers that way. That kind of fell through. And basically my mum was just like, you're clearly not actually doing anything. You need to go get a real job. So I was like, So I went out and I started looking around for real jobs, but I refused to actually get a real job. I was like, okay, the real job has to be in social media or YouTube or something, because it's my skill set. It's something I've been doing for, at that time, probably 3 or 4 years. So I was like, I have to do something in this field, because any other field I'm going to start kind of objectively from the bottom and I have to learn another skill set to get there. So I was looking for jobs in social media world, and I just happened to come across an agency, a talent agency, that was looking for someone that could help out and then also develop a social media side of the business. So standard interview process kind of went through, and I got a job at this agency. Within the first year, we'd brought on 12 clients with 60 million views a month. Wow. And kind of built up this roster of people that then in theory you could then monetize using brands.
Yeah.
So for me, the learning curve, the stuff I hadn't already learned was working with brands, working with agencies, marketing or PR agencies, how you reach out to those people and how you kind of interact with them and kind of gain the relationship that then they can bring work to you. I just knew all the YouTube side of things, so I kind of had that covered, and it was a learning process from there.
That's pretty cool. So with that in mind, how do you go and find these like deals and these brands? Do they tend to come to you? Do you go to them? Do the talent, if you can call them that, come to you and go, I really want to work with Nike
it's literally a combination of all of them, and that may sound cliche, but it is. So like when we first meet with a talent, like if this was a meeting now, the first thing we'd be saying is like, you've got a good platform, you've got a good audience. What are brands you aspire to work with? What are brands that you resonate with?
Because I really want to talk in a second on how you find people you want to work with.
Yeah.
But let's cover this off though.
Okay.
With the marketing.
So yeah, let's just say you're a massive
brands.
Harley Davidson fan. You really want to work with Harley Davidson.
Always.
Yeah. So if we're gonna reach out to brands, the first, like, you know, if we were to have a top 10 of brands, they've got to be ones that you would genuinely care about. Be it your shoes that you wear, the watch that you wear, the sunglasses, the bike, the car, whatever. They're the brands that if we came to you and said they want to pay you to do something, you would be over the moon and you'd be really enthusiastic because that's just the brands that you aspire to want to work with. So that's really easy. And then all we have to do then is reach out to those brands and hope that they come back. Most of them don't because the space is quite new, so it's not as easy as just like, hey, do you want to spend loads of money with us? And they go, yeah. And then you sign a check and then you get paid and then they make some videos. It's much more, like I said, it's a relationship you have to build. And a lot of the times it's an understanding you have to build as well. There's a lot of brands that we now have done kind of single year or multi-year deals with that when we first made contact with the person at the brand, they didn't even know how any of this worked. So you kind of have to hold their hand and explain it to them and provide them the benefits and work through how this could benefit them and the brand that they work for.
And they're all now starting to understand the YouTube space.
Yeah, so now you've got the
results.
Now you've got the second. You've got the second part of that. So the first is, what brands do you, Christian, want to work with? We'll go and reach out to those. The second is, what brands fit your audience, and we'll go and reach out to those. So whilst you're off going making your videos, we're sitting in an office going, Archie, he's into racing, right? Okay, let's get every racing brand or brand related to racing, or maybe a brand that has advertising in the racing world, or maybe you've got like a Tag Heuer who are their heritage is in racing, so they've got that storyline there. Let's reach out to those people and go, we've got this audience, this person, and we think there's a storyline because this person resonates with your brand and what we think is your marketing. So that's a perfect example is Archie and Tag Heuer. We were working with Tag Heuer across a few different shows and a few different events because his image and the way that he was portraying himself as kind of the racing angle of things fits really well with what they're trying to do as well. They're trying I think their tagline at the time was break the mold, and they were looking to don't crack under pressure. That was it. It was don't crack under pressure. So it was all about that kind of side of things.
Okay. So it is finding that really nice marriage between
two people
dream. That are going to get on.
That's the dream. Yeah. That's the best way it works for everyone. Because then when Archie makes the video, it doesn't look like a sellout. He's not selling in something he doesn't believe in or like or care about. The brand feel like they're getting something that's actually engaging directly towards their kind of target audience, and everybody's happy. So that's the second way, is for us to think externally outside of input from the YouTuber. Think about, okay, who can we go to? Who fits this demographic? Who fits this audience? Who fits this image?
Have you ever got it wrong?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've even done videos where they've been paid and it's just like that. It didn't really work.
Right. But I suppose you live and learn, and you
exactly. Yeah. I think people think that it's really just like, oh yeah, get the money, and like any brand will do. But we do really consider like who works with who and like how that affects their image.
So I'm guessing that's a lot like how the people from say like Love Island would fall down.
Yep.
For the fact that they come out, there's brands throwing deals at them, and they just lap all of it.
And it's
up.
really easy to say yes. It's really easy. We've done it before. Like it's just something that, if someone is coming to you saying, oh, I need income, I need money, I need this, that, the other, or I just want to be doing bigger, better things, if a bigger, better thing comes up but it's not perfect, maybe
it's hard to say no.
It's hard to say no, and also maybe you try it, maybe it does work. We've never had any branded videos that have like been crazy negative. There's been no like spray paint equivalent videos but with brands in them, nothing like that. But
because I wanted to touch on if there was any nightmare story you had, maybe working with a brand or
I think the most issues you have with a brand is their understanding not being at the level required to know how to work with a YouTuber. So it's mostly so selling in an idea or selling in a concept normally has to fit within what the brand themselves want to do or achieve. Right. So it's not you coming to the brand and saying, hey, I've got this really crazy idea, let's do this. It's normally the brand's going, hey, we've got this activation, we've got this specific thing that we want to do. How can you make a video around that? So it's kind of molding yourself to them rather than them to you.
But I'm sure there's a few little problems that you've had along the way of people
like I said, so it's less
name wrong or
yeah, we've had that a few times. I think you were there for one of those.
I was there for one initially, but yes.
I remember that one.
It's mostly an on-site problem. So a lot of obviously contracts are always an issue. That's in anybody that's had a job and had to renegotiate their contracts because they want a pay rise, they want terms changed or more holiday. Like that's always an issue because every side has to give and take a bit. So you have to work through that. That's always an issue. The logistics of planning a shoot can sometimes be an issue because maybe a talent is away somewhere or they're busy on another shoot and like you have to fit it into the client who's the brand's timings. And
this is all on your shoulders.
Yeah, so this is at this point the YouTuber hasn't really got involved. Maybe we're contacting them to discuss timings and logistics and how that would work for them, but like we're the ones going back and forth with the brands. So there's always issues there where it's just like, no, we refuse for you to do this or that timings won't work, or that flight's too late, or things like that. Okay. But they're normally resolvable because really at the end of the day, it's just objective, like businessy stuff that you just have to work through. And if you work a bit harder, you can get through it.
So
I was going to say, then the final side is the one where the big issues come. It's just on a job. You're there, the client's there, the talent's there, you've got the car or the thing or the experience, the cameras, everything.
Harley Davidson.
Yeah, we're at Harley Davidson and the GoPro stops recording.
Yeah,
and it's stuff like that. So it's the stuff you can't plan. You plan this whole day, you plan this whole event, but if the event overruns and you miss your flight, there's not much you can't plan that in advance. You can't book 2 flights and then if you miss one, you get the other. So you have to take it as it comes, and that's where issues arise because all the YouTubers are just trying their best to make the most organic and real content to their audience. And when you've got a brand coming into that sometimes can blur that line between like, okay, what's really you and what's really the brand. And we try really hard to ensure that whatever the brand message is fits into that content as organically as possible. So you have the YouTuber coming in, they want to make this video, they want to do it in their style, and then you've got the brand kind of like on the ground live being like, oh, why did you try like this? And it's like, oh, well, that doesn't really work. Or like I said, maybe it overruns, you miss a flight, or maybe the car doesn't turn up, or something breaks, or something breaks down, and that's where all the big issues happen. You maybe spell a name wrong at a motor show, stuff like that.
The brand is like, oh my God, change it now.
Yeah, exactly, and you just have to kind of, we're working hard behind the scenes before anything visibly happens to the public. But then even whilst it's happening to the public, we're working to ensure that whatever they're seeing is exactly what the influencer should want to see or wants to create, what the audience wants to see, or what the brand wants to get out of it.
Yeah.
So there's three parts to this. It's not as easy as just...
I'm guessing if you're on a shoot with a car manufacturer and one of their cars breaks down, you're probably not going to film that because the brand is paying you to show off their
press
car or brand or whatever.
Press trips are different. Press trips you don't get paid for. They're just something that you get invited on. It'll be a new car launch or even having press cars like Tim at the moment. What have you got at the moment?
I've got a Mustang V8.
Okay, there you go.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes.
And how much have you been paid for that?
0.
There we go. So normal press cars you don't get paid for in that sense. But then you'll have paid activations, which will be a specific trip or something that you will get paid for. And then you've got to disclose all the different variations of all of that. So I think most YouTubers do a pretty good job of explaining whether something is paid for, as in like they're paying for you to go on a trip, a press trip. They're just giving you a car, which is a value in itself because you generate revenue off of that video. Or whether you're literally being paid a marketing fee to push out a specific message that has been curated and created for you or with you for a brand.
So this all seems a bit too good to be true, really. You make a couple of videos, all of a sudden you've got somebody looking after you that's arranging your flights and your travel and your accommodation, pulling you in big money. Because I'm sure there are quite a few people that are listening to this podcast going, well, I've made a few videos on YouTube and I've really enjoyed it. And I want to get to the point where I'm having somebody look after me and take me here and show me that and say, oh, yeah, we should go and work with whoever it is. How does someone get to that point and how do you choose that talent to work with?
So
do they pick you? Do you pick them? Like how does it work?
It's a mix of those. So some people will come to us and be like, hey, I've heard you work with these kind of people in this kind of field, and you do these kind of things, and like I'd like to see if I can work with you too. And then from our side, we're always looking for new people. So if that person comes to us, it's like, oh, great, this person could be interesting. We'll look at their YouTube numbers, look at their, their stats overall and analytics, and see who they're reaching, how they're reaching them, and kind of what the trajectory of that is. Because if someone comes to you and they've got a very small subscriber base, they may not make any money, right? So they're not going to be making any money commercially, and that's obviously where we make our money is the commercial deals, and they won't be making any money on YouTube. So that at the moment this is a hobby. But if you see something in them, or you see that like they just got that viral video, or something about them is interesting or unique, or kind of fits what you think a brand may be interested in, then that's an interesting conversation, and we develop relationships like that. So we have relationships with loads of people that we don't manage, but if something was to come up, let's just say something to come up with a bike brand, and you wanted to do something with that, then we would come to you, even though we don't directly manage you in that sense, in this scenario.
So even just knowing you is good enough sometimes to potentially get you in the loop.
Yeah, please don't send me emails, everyone, for God's sake. I've got enough emails to deal with as it is.
Maybe we just put up your Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
Yeah, we'll pop your Instagram handle.
Patrick's Instagram thing is here somewhere right now.
Yeah,
and if you're listening, it's at
Becoming Patrick.
Becoming Patrick.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. Nearly there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the story for another time, the username, because people don't understand why. And I forgot why as well, but now I remembered, so it's quite good. But yeah, so you've got that side.
Okay, well, with that in mind, if you've got a roster of, let's just say 5 automotive YouTubers, and you get, I don't know, let's just say Audi, and they go, right, we've got £20,000 to spend on an awesome video of their new whatever it is. Their new, say when the new R8 gets launched, we want to spend 20 grand. We'll give you the car for 6 months. We want one of your people to blah blah blah. How would you pick? Because if I was on like with you guys and I was like, well, why didn't I get that deal?
Yeah. So firstly, nobody's ever come to us and said, here's 20 grand in the car for 6 months. Can you make some videos? It's normally, we have this event for 3 days. Can you come to the event and make a video at the event about the event and the car or the thing or the product? And how much are you? And then we have to go and negotiate that. They don't come and say, we've got X amount of money. How would you like to spend it? Right, we wish it was that easy. It really isn't.
Nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sorry, what was your question?
So how do you differentiate between if you're looking after, say, a pool of talent?
Yeah, we don't look to replicate talent. So we're not interested in 2 people that are really technical. We're not interested in 2 people that do really crazy lifestyle stuff. We're not interested in 2 people that do racing or whatever else. Okay. We're interested in everybody having their own unique angle. So when a brand comes to us and says, hey, we've got this event coming up with a new Audi R8, we're going to go, okay, is it a track event? Is it a lifestyle event? Do you want to know technical figures around the car? Like, what is the angle that you're looking for, your marketing push for this?
Got it. So if you're an Archie Hamilton wannabe, it's probably not worth it.
So if they say track, then we're like, oh yeah, Archie's perfect. He's a racing driver. He has that heritage, that image that he can then portray in his videos, which is why we've done stuff with Dunlop before around their track in Mirabel using their new tyres on Porsches.
Yeah, that was a good video.
And that was really cool. And then let's just say it's all like technical, like really detailed stuff. Then you want someone like Tim, Shmi 150, because he is perfect at getting around all of those figures and numbers and walking around a car.
Yeah, whereas Archie doesn't know how much oil to put in his...
Oh, no, of course not, no. But then Archie professes that that's how he is, and like everybody knows that, and he knows that. He's not trying to pretend to be someone like Tim. And then if you've got like a crazy lifestyle angle, you want someone like James, Mr. JWW, who really kind of can capture that kind of lifestyle essence. I think like his latest Rolls-Royce video, the first one he put up was him riding a horse. Like that's not like a normal car review video. That's not that objective car review. That's completely different.
That's one point I was going to make actually, because people will be saying, oh, there's all these events, what sort of things happen. The Rolls-Royce one is a very good example, isn't it? I mean,
what was the Rolls-Royce? I don't know what
it was. A Cullinan.
They were all
is that how you say it?
The Cullinan, yeah.
Is it an SUV? They're SUV.
They're SUV, yeah. So, but these quite a group of these YouTubers were flown out to Wyoming, I think it was.
Right.
Jackson Hole in Wyoming, which is, I mean, it's bear country.
Yeah.
We're talking middle of nothing, but incredibly beautiful.
When you say bear country, as in like grizzly bear, or there's nothing there? A bit of both?
Both, yeah. Right. But actual bears.
Nothing there apart from bears.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Yeah. And 10 Rolls Royces.
Right.
But put up in this incredible hotel. I mean, it was just
like almost a 6-star hotel.
Yeah, like a 6-star hotel, and they're driving to the top of this ridiculous mountain in these Rolls Royce SUVs. They get to the top, and there's a hut serving pastries and freshly brewed coffee and things like this. And it's this incredible trip.
Yeah.
And you've got, just as an example, you had Paul from Supercars of London was there, Sam Seen Through Glass was there, Mr. JWW, and Shmee 150 as an example. They were all there.
All doing their own different angle.
All doing their own thing. I mean, a couple of them they were like, James and Sam were in the same car.
Yeah, they were car sharing.
They were car sharing for a lot of it. And so they had some really fun videos between them, and it was mainly the lifestyle aspect. And you watched Sam's video, and he even mentions, about 2/3 of the way through, he says, look, there's not much about the car in this, to be honest. He said, but there are other people on this trip who are far more technical. Tim, for example, Shmee 150, you watch his video, and he's very in-depth technical about the Cullen and what it can do, the stats, the figures.
Yeah. So you go to Tim if you want all that. You go to James if you want a bit more lifestyle-y stuff. Okay, well, that makes a lot.
So you've got different strokes for different folks. Different brands want different things, and our job is to make sure that we provide the best talent for that job. You also have it the other way around, where brands will come and say, "I want that specific person," and then you just cater to whatever their needs. And if there's a scenario where the brand comes to you and just like I said and says, which talent do we need, like what this is the event, like who have you got, then we provide them as objective as possible a list of people, and we can give our input as to who we think, given the event details, who's the best. But at the end of the day, it's the brand's decision. Like we don't try and take that away. And again, unless for brands coming to us and they just want a list of people, we'll provide them a whole list. And that may even be based on like numbers or their style of their thing. It just depends. So lots of variables.
With that in mind, then, that you're pulling these brands and these influencers together, and it's great. Influencer gets paid. The brand gets their content and their kind of promotion, their push.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys make money?
So we take a percentage of any commercial deals that we do.
Right.
So all of the work that we do behind the scenes, all of the work we do behind the scenes, and then on event is then we take a commission off of that.
Okay. Well, I guess you've got to get paid, right?
You're
doing all the hard work, really, all the logistics, all the planning, the marrying.
The videos are hard too,
together.
but that's where the kind of commercial aspect from our end comes. Is the bigger and better deals we get for our clients, the bigger and better we become as a company, and can afford to do bigger and better things.
And where do you see it going? Just bigger and better?
Yeah, I think
brands maybe understanding influencers.
Yeah, I think brands are starting to understand them a lot more. I think that's a positive and a negative, because a lot of them are working out the value that they perceive in them, and then offering that value forward. So they'll come to us and say, hey, we've got this amazing thing, but we're only going to pay you X amount. But X amount is like half of what that talent would traditionally expect, let's say. So that's an issue we're having to continue to educate people on, is like, okay, there is still a value to this. Just because you've now understood it doesn't mean you can start trying to get the lowest fee humanly possible.
Well, thank you. And just before we wrap this up, I just want to touch very quickly on the cars that you own, because obviously you're in the automotive world.
The cars, that sounds scary.
You've already mentioned your classic Mini.
Yeah,
I've got a classic Mini, 1989 Mini 30.
And you had a little bit of a incident with that, didn't you?
I got rear-ended. Wasn't it? I mean, I didn't do anything. I was stuck at traffic lights. But yeah, so that wasn't good fun.
You've completely fixed it now. It looks.
Oh yeah, the car's fine. It's been all restored. It's been restored once before, and now the back of it, it just got dented. But no, I love that thing. It is not safe to drive on the road. Like just being like a very small.
I will never forget.
A very small collision nearly ruptured the entire fuel tank. So because the fuel tank's in the boot, which is great.
Well, I will never forget, and it was driving back from one of Archie's drag races. I was doing a normal speed, and I was sat there just on the motorway, just minding my own business, and all of a sudden, in my little wing mirror, side mirror, I look, and you come flying past in this Mini,
just like shaking.
I honestly thought it was about to take off. It looked so unsafe.
Yeah, it doesn't it doesn't go very fast or do very high speeds, but if you're driving that thing, you're driving at 10/10 the entire time. Like there is no like cruise speed. It's just go, go, go. There's only 4 gears, so you get to the 4th gear by 30 miles an hour, and that's good up until the speed limit.
Yes.
Yeah. Or actually, it genuinely doesn't do much over the speed limit. I think the most I've ever done is about 90. That's about it.
Nice.
But that was road.
Yeah, on private land, down a hill for a few miles.
With the wind behind you.
Yeah, literally that was it. Like it doesn't. It's the safest car in the world if you don't want to get caught speeding. It's very unsafe if anybody ever comes anywhere near you, like hissing you, because it's made of tin and it's very thin. So
yeah, well, we drove one in the middle of London, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
You and I hired we got one.
What was it? Big city, small car, big city.
Small car, big city.
I love those things. I see them around because we're based in London Bridge, and I see them around all the time. There's actually one parked out the Shard now, you know.
Really?
Yes, I think you can if you're staying in the Shangri-La, you can just
you can just nip downstairs and jump in a classic Mini,
which is really cool.
It is fantastic.
Is cool.
If any of you ever come to London and you're listening to this or watching this, definitely look up Small Car Big City. They're fantastic. You just can go and rent. They've got quite a few of them. If you go and look at their website,
and you can
8 or 9 of them, I think.
You can get a tour and you can drive them as well, right? Like there's a few different.
And they are a fantastic little car to have around London. You just nip in and out, and you can basically park it wherever you like. And you don't
realize how small they are until you're in another car and you see one, and you're like, oh my god! I saw one on the motorway once, but in between 2 lorries, I was like, hang on, I'm driving one of those. Like
you'll be under the wheels.
Yeah.
But of course,
go on.
You're talking. People are looking at this and going, "Oh, he can't be doing that well for himself.
Yeah,
he's got a classic old Mini."
Yeah.
You also drive something else, don't you? Not what you'd call the mainstream choice.
No, and I feel that's probably why I do quite well at this job, is because I also have a stupid fascination of cars as well as everybody else in this world. But I have an Alfa Romeo 4C.
Carbon fibre bucket.
Yes. Yeah,
with
it's
some
a
wheels.
950 kilogram pocket rocket, basically.
And you enjoy it?
Oh, it's amazing. It's been my dream car, barring the Mini. People always ask me like, "Oh, what are you going to replace it with?" I was like, "I don't have anything. That's just the car I want. It's uncomfortable. The steering's terrible. Suspension's as hard as you can get."
We drove it around Monaco. We drove it up in the hills.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? That was mega.
That was mega. I drove it for a good hour or so up these up the mountain pass, and I had a lot of fun. Even thinking about it now puts a big smile on my face, because the car's so direct.
Yeah.
Everything you do with it is like you put in one tiny little movement and you're off in that
We don't
direction.
even have to put in a tiny little movement, it'll go off onto the side because of the suspension.
You just think about turning right and it'll just do it. But yeah, it does pull over the road quite a bit.
Yeah. It's like a carbon fibre Lotus.
It is, it really is.
So,
it's like an Italian carbon fibre Lotus. If you think about what a Lotus would be if an Italian designed it, that's exactly what it is. It's flowing lines, it looks beautiful, it looks like a mini supercar, and yeah, it's economical, really it's got a small engine, it's good on insurance.
Not good on space though, not
good on space, no. We've had 2 people on a road trip really tough. Shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be done. It should be one person.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever be able to bring my girlfriend on a long trip, because that'll be way too much stuff.
No, not unless you take her to a chiropractor afterwards. My back still hurts.
There's that too, yeah.
In that car.
Yeah, I have to have cushions in it for long drives.
Yeah, I don't blame
but it's really fast though, really fast. Like funnily enough, yesterday I was with a friend, a guy called Joe Achilles, who you may know, and he had an Audi RS4 press car, and we did like a rolling start to the speed limit. Or rolling drag race to the speed limit, and it kind of kept up. It was the RS4 was slowly going away, but the car has so much torque, the 4C.
But as well, it's such a usable car. It's usable power, so it's not just like getting in a Ferrari where half the time actually you really got to take it to a track to really get the most out of it. You can kind of get the most out of it.
Yeah, you're having fun at any speed, basically, and it sounds so loud as well. People always ask if it's got an aftermarket exhaust. It doesn't. Like, there's probably a video on my Instagram of the exhaust, but it's just absurd. Like, it's so loud, but it's just from factory. It's just the Italians; they're just crazy.
They are. Yeah, and it's very much. I mean, I don't think the Alpine A110 would exist without the Alpha doing it first with the 4C.
It's the exact same.
It's exactly the same thing, just without the carbon fibre.
1.7 5-litre engine, 4-cylinder turboed,
240
brake horsepower, under 1,000 kilograms.
The whole thing it's exactly the same thing. It's just they've gone down the very lightweight aluminium route.
Yeah, and the interior is much better on the Alpine, I have to admit. If I was to take one thing out of the 4C and replace it with, it would be the interior. It's questionable at best. Questionable.
Patrick, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast on the other side of the camera this time. If you do want to follow Patrick, ask him any questions, etc., just spam him on Instagram at BecomingPatrick.
My only expertise is 4Cs, so don't ask me about any other car. That's the only one I know about. That and Classic Mini.
Yeah, that and Classic Mini. And if you've got any questions, of course, regarding becoming YouTube talent or talent in general, I guess, because it's not just YouTubers. You guys.
No, we didn't really expand on that, but yeah, we work with presenters and radio people, so it's across the board. It's not just online talent, but that is the area that I predominantly work in.
Yeah, and if you thought all the camera angles and things were dodgy this week, don't worry, Patrick will be back behind.
this is the issue of me being in front of camera. Yeah, I'll stick to being behind the camera for the next one.
Yeah, thank you so much again to Wars Harley Davidson down here in Chelsea for letting us come and film in their incredible showroom. We've been here actually pretty much all day.
It's mega.
It is so good, and all the bikes they've got, you can hire bikes from here as well, or you can just come in and kind of just drool over all of the stuff they've got.
And grab a coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much again to BOTB for sponsoring the podcast. If you haven't heard of BOTB, they give away a dream car and a lifestyle product every single week, so you never know. If you're listening to this maybe on a Sunday or a Monday, I might be coming to surprise you with your dream car or a lifestyle prize this week.
It's too late, I've already got my dream car.
Well.
Yeah, maybe you want something that's slightly more comfortable than a 4C.
Yeah. And if you're watching this on our YouTube in the Headlights channel, don't forget, subscribe if you're not already, hit the like button, all that stuff. We have to say these things. You have to hit the like button and go and see our other videos. There's plenty more on the channel.
On YouTube
lifestyle content, car content.
And we're not just on YouTube. If you're listening to this podcast or you're watching it, it keeps cutting out every time you close your phone because you don't want to.
Or go onto the tube,
It'll go on the tube, exactly. Then just download the podcast. It's available on every single podcast app, as Patrick said at the beginning. Please do just search for In the Headlights. We'll, of course, be back next week with another one. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
See ya.